Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Man, I'm just a jamming over here. I'm sorry. What's up, everybody? It's your man DJ FX. You're listening to and watching MC Love with DJ FX right here on the YouTube as well as Facebook. Let me see, make sure Facebook is streaming it. Um, I don't see it being streamed on Facebook. I'm kind of a little disappointed. But as long as y'all get on YouTube, I'm happy. Okay, there it is. There it is. A little late, but there it is. All right, let's see. It says manage video. I want to make sure that everybody can make their comments. I got to see how to do that. I'll work on that. Not now, but I will work on that because I want to make sure I get everybody's comments on both platforms. So I'm excited about this day, y'all. Y'all just don't know. I am super, super excited because I have a very special guest that I've been trying to get on here. I want to say about 2 years, maybe 3, I don't know, but it's been a minute, and I finally got her, y'all. I finally got her. I'm so psyched. I'm so hyped. I'm so psyched. I'm so excited, and I am also honored and blessed to have her. So without, further ado, let's go ahead and cheer her on. I'm bringing in the one and only Porsche Taylor. How you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm good. I
I'm
know you're
good.
tired. I
It's
know you're
been a
tired
it's
because
been a long
you've been
day, man.
riding you've been riding pretty much all week, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. But that's okay. When you gotta get there, you gotta get there. I'm enjoying it. I'm having some long talks with God on the road. It's been a nice ride so far.
A to the man on that. Wow. Again, I'm honored and humbled to have you on. So let's talk about we're gonna just jump right into the whole thing from where you got from there to here you are now,
Okay.
in this season. Um, and I guess the journey starts. Let's start with the journey of you and the love of motorcycles. How did that happen?
Yeah. My journey with motorcycles started a long time ago. Uh Gosh, it has to be almost 25 years I've been riding now. Um, I've always wanted to ride a bike, but my parents weren't going for it. To be honest, they just, wasn't something that I would ever get permission to do as a teenager or even a kid. But I was an adult. I started riding when I was about 27.
Mhm.
Um, and my cousin, he got his bike, and he came over to my house. He had a Suzuki. I'm not sure which model. It wasn't one of the sport bikes. It was like a sport touring bike.
Okay.
And he invited me to come take a short ride with him. in traffic. So I did, and I enjoyed the feeling of being on a bike, but I thought he was making some decisions that I wouldn't make, you know. Out here in California, we split lanes and stuff. So he was just making some different choices. So I wasn't sure if I was ever going to get one. And then um, he invited me to go see the movie Biker Boys. And I went to see Biker Boys, and I thought, for as cheesy as it was a great representation of women in on the bike set, because in that
Right.
movie, all of the women had their own motorcycle. There was only maybe one or two that were passengers, and I
Hmm.
thought that was outstanding, you know. I just gotten a bonus check. At the time, I was a marketing manager at Adidas, and I just gotten a bonus check for a promotion that I'd done for Tracy McGrady. And I was either, at the time, big screen TVs was like $4,000 and $5,000, right? So I was
Right.
either gonna buy a big screen or I was gonna buy a motorcycle. And I bought the bike. And from there, I was just off and running, you know. Shout out to the club that's in the movie. That was my inspiration is Total Package. They're actually a real motorcycle club in Los Angeles. And I was able to meet with the ladies and have since created some great friendships there. But that was my initial inspiration to ride, and I just kind of never looked back, you know.
Now,
Um,
that movie was basically filmed over there in California, right?
right. It involved all of the SoCal motorcycle set. So you'll see real members of Soul Brothers were in there, real members
Hmm.
from every club, basically,
Right.
represented in some way, shape, or form. And of course, they created the big club in the movie was fictional at the time.
Right.
But all those other clubs. So it was a great homage to the Black Bike set. And yeah, it took some liberties with some stuff like it's no way you're gonna have sport bikes racing on a dirt road. In hindsight, we can look at it and laugh, but for its time, it definitely gave a face. It gave some representation to us in ways because let's be honest, for the longest time the face of motorsports has been the middle-aged white male,
Hmm.
and that wouldn't have been anything that would have encouraged me to ride, you know what I'm saying. But seeing women who looked like me riding big sport bikes too, Sally Richardson had, I think she had a Busa or she had a Kawasaki in the movie. And I mean, just that was inspirational. And so I did what everybody does when they want their first bike. I went to Craigslist and got made a terrible purchasing decision. It was,
Really?
so my first bike was a Ninja ZX6R. I loved it. It was beautiful. It was like a cherry red. It had the graphics on it. It looked pristine. It looked pristine. I took my cousin with me because I wanted somebody knowledgeable about motorcycles. And on the outside, it looked great. And so I bought the bike and I wasn't aware of it, but it wasn't running right. So
Hmm.
I went to a bike night, and there was a gentleman named Mad. He's one of the OGs in the SoCal bike set. So he heard me roll up on my bike, and he was listening. He's a master mechanic, and he was like, "Your bike's not running right. Something's not right. Why don't you bring it by the house and let me take a look at it?" And I said, "Okay." First, you kind of think, I don't know what his motives are, what going over a guy's house, whatever. But I did. I went over his house and he said, "Okay, I need you to go to KFC and get me some chicken. By the time you come back, your bike will be good to go." So I go get him some chicken. And when I came back, he was finished. And I don't, the way he explained it was the bike wasn't breathing correctly. So he had made
Hmm.
some changes, and he said, "When you get on this bike, it's a different bike. It's not the same bike that you bought." Because the bike that I bought was powerful, but it was by no means like what it was when he finished. And I think that might have been God doing that by design, so I didn't kill myself. So I had learned to ride with it, incapacitated, not knowing. And then by the time I got on it after he had touched it, it was a real sport bike. And I was like, oh, okay. So it was a lot more power. And then um, I he taught me how to ride. He taught me how to really ride a bike, and my bike club. I ended up joining his club. Matter of fact, I wanted to follow this guy wherever he went and learn everything there was to know about motorcycles at this point, right? But the
Hmm.
club that he was a part of had women in it too. It was a co-ed club called Steel Horses, and this was the Los Angeles chapter. And I've been in that club for 25 years. And the thing that I loved about the club was not only could I learn how to ride, I could learn bike maintenance. The women in the club were also instrumental in teaching me how to ride and showing me how to lean in the curves. These women were badass. And so I felt comfortable. Um, and the one thing that he did that I would encourage anybody to do is he put a helmet on me. And at the time, we had those big chatter boxes, the big, bulky
Right.
chatter boxes. So he
Yeah.
had one and I had one. And we went on the 110 freeway in Los Angeles all the way to Pasadena. If anybody knows, this was the first freeway built in Los Angeles. So it's full of twists and turns. And people get on it from a full stop. So it's also one of the most dangerous highways. So Mad takes me on this
Oh
freeway. I
wow.
got I got the chatterbox and he's in my ear telling me, okay, I want you to push down on the left side of the handlebars, see how the bike is responding. Push on the right side, see how the bike is responding. And we started to go through this road. Now, really sharp curve came up, and he said, You got to push down, Porsche. You got to push down. I'm scared. I'm almost freezing." He said, "If you don't push down, you're gonna hit the wall." And I pushed, and the bike leaned, and I made it all the
Uh-huh.
way through, all the way through all the different twists, hairpin turns, and everything. And when I got to the end, I said, "Okay, so I need somebody to ride this home because I'm not getting back on this. I'm not getting back on this bike." And he was like, "That's not how this works. You wrote it here, you gotta ride it home."
Ride it
And
back.
so,
Yep.
yeah, so that was the guidance that my Steel Horse family gave to me, and still continue to give to me. We went from street bikes to riding cross country together, and just some of the best relationships I could ever hope to have.
Big shout out to Steel Horse Motorcycle Club.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Some other
so
chapters in
from
Brooklyn, New York, and we got chapters all over the East Coast as well. So.
Then where are you originally from?
I am from Hawaii, but I was raised in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Aloha.
born in Honolulu. My family lived in Waianae and Honolulu, and my mom settled in Los Angeles when I was about 3 years old.
Nice. What was your biker name when you was with the club?
PT Cruiser.
PT Cruiser?
PT
That's a
Cruiser.
long name. PT
It
Cruiser.
was. It was a
Okay.
long name. It was a long name, but I picked it because I was the slowest one. I was the slowest one out of everybody. And my mindset was, I'm just out here cruising. I'm not trying to die for none of this. But
Right.
what happens though when you ride with a club with an advanced skill set, iron sharpens iron. And so as we would ride in the canyons every Sunday, we would ride all over the city. I start to gain confidence. So I dropped the cruiser and just became PT.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Of course, the PT stood for Porsche Taylor, of
Right. That's
course.
right. That's right.
So
That's right.
so from there, where'd you go from MC to where to next?
So, as I was, I'm still in my club, still to this day. And I was going through something at work where I wasn't fulfilled anymore, right?
Mhm.
And I knew that my days there were probably going to come to an end. And so I started to sit and think about what the next part of my life looked like. What does the next chapter look like? I had lived I lived a bunch of different lives. I've been in the music industry. I've been in the sneaker business I've been with Adidas for about a decade. And it was just time for a change. And one day, matter of fact, New Year's Day of 2011, I was watching something on YouTube. I came across a Will Smith interview on YouTube, and he was talking about a book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Hmm.
And I went and I bought that book that same day. I read that book from cover to cover, and it changed
And
my
it
life.
changed my life.
And I really sat still and I started to like really think about what my purpose was. What are you passionate about? What do you love? Right. So I started to line up all the aspects of my life. I've got a degree in history from UCLA. I'm a self-taught graphic designer, and can design everything from large format
Graphic
graphics
designer.
to, all the Black Girls Ride stuff you see, I design myself. Um, and I start to think, what if you could take um, super sport bike meets essence? What would that look like? And that was the kernel that became Black Girls Ride magazine. And I did
Hmm.
it. I grew it out. That New Year's Day, I had the whole concept mapped out. I was just super, super. And then, again, you got to remember, this is pre-social media. So when you had an idea back then, you could really hone in on it and
Right.
focus, right? I think social media has done a job on my focus, but back then I could turn it out, pretty quickly. And so I started just putting together what the issues would look like. And we were in print for a while, but the truth is print was a dying medium. So I decided to take the magazine online. And then from the magazine became a community. Black women could identify with Black Girls Ride. They could see themselves in the pages. That we knew in the set in our individual cities, right? We knew that Black women were a part of the bike set, but the story back then was it's a man's set, it's a man's world, and women were just lucky to be a part of it. And
Hmm.
so I wanted to show us beyond clubhouses, if you will, right? We're actually out here buying bikes, riding bikes. We are also competing in sporting events. We are buying gear. We are participants in the motorsports community. So the goal for Black Girls Ride was to show what we look like to the rest of the world. And we have, over the course of these last 14 years, been instrumental in changing the perception and the face of motorsports to a degree. And I'm
Hmm.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited about having women in Dubai, women in Japan, women in London and Paris, women in the Caribbean who are looking at us. I mean, women in Africa, in Ghana, who know about us, know about the brand, and associate themselves with Black Girls Ride. That's exciting. And so now, from there began the events, trying to bring community together and create safe spaces for both new riders and intermediate riders to meet new riding buddies and to travel across the United
Hmm.
States. And that started with my favorite riding buddy and my mentor, Secret the Cross Country Rider. My first Bessie Stringfield ride back then, where we rode from Birmingham to Miami. Um, and then Secret tricked me after we got to Miami. Secret tricked me and was like, "Hey, we should go all the way. We should go all the way to the southern tip." And I'm like, "Okay." All
Let me
right.
do this real quick. I want to read something from the Black Girls Ride magazine. It said,
Sure.
"Black Girls is not an exclusive racial statement. It is an exclusive celebration of all women who love. Well, I'm assuming who live to ride. I'm assuming it's supposed
Right.
to say love to ride.
No, it's supposed to
Or
be
it's supposed
live to ride. If it says
or
live,
live
that's
to
what
ride.
it is. Yeah.
Okay, A
So
to the man.
it's what that means is obviously whenever you celebrate your blackness, you
Hmm.
get backlash from people who don't see themselves centered in that vision, right? So
Right.
it's kind of the similar. Why you got to say Black Lives Matter? Why can't it be All Lives Matter? So we got that same pushback, when I said Black Girls Ride, and the reason, and I'm unapologetic about it, is because we need a space where we are visible, where we can be unapologetic in our blackness. But it doesn't exclude anyone. All riders are always welcome to anything Black Girls Ride does. And we actually interact with lots of women's groups. But I did have to make that statement because I kept getting that question. And folks do what they do sometime and they try to redirect your focus. And my answer is always I don't have to hate you to love me. So
Mm,
it's not exclusive. You're welcome to ride with us, but we are going to
okay.
ride. We are going to ride as Black women, and you have to be okay with that, you know. But I
I
always,
also
I
like
go ahead, man.
No, I was gonna say also like, continuing on with your statement, further down it says, we are honored to feature living legends like
Right.
Miss Showtime, you know,
Right.
female riders who've been on the set in the motorsports world. You know, you mentioned, well, I think it was Crystal Dickerson,
Mm.
um,
Peggy Llewellyn,
Spurlock,
yeah, Destiny
you
Spurlock.
know, and
I mean,
I had
and
the honor
there's
to have her on the show once.
yeah,
And, good spirit. So, from you said you're still with the MC, correct?
yeah. I'm still a member of Still Horses. Yeah, proud member. I love my
How
club.
I've had a segment, I had two-part segment, was called, balancing, um, living a balanced life. How do you balance being in the set as well as doing the organization or the movement with Black Girl Ride?
I have to say this. I couldn't do it without my club. I couldn't do it without my LA chapter. Um, I have brothers that have been there for me and have been instrumental in helping me build this brand. You know, all of the guys in my chapter, I have the utmost respect for them. They've been super supportive. And not just my chapter, nationwide. The the family supports the brand. And I couldn't do
Mhm,
it without them. And ultimately, my club is a family, right? And so just like you juggle your family at home and you juggle being on the set, it's the same thing. They've given me so much grace when it comes to attendance and things of that nature because they kind of know what it takes to build this brand. They've given me so much grace and support. Um, so I have to lift them up in high praise. Um, and the goal of the chapter has always been for us to ride together, and what they saw was a transition from this becoming a maybe a side job to becoming my
mhm,
main job. And just like, you got somebody who is, they work at their company, I'm working at mine. So that means that I have to travel, and that means that, but I usually, I always take my club colors with me. I always represent. In fact, you're gonna see, I just did an episode of Ride on the AMC channel, um, and you're gonna see my club vest in that shoot because I want to give all praise to Still Horses. So it's a balance. It is.
Real quick, on Facebook, Jacques Moose, aka Moose of Kingdom Nine Motorcycle Ministry, Vice President. He said there's nothing like support. It's everything.
It is. It is. The support can mean, for me, the support of my club has meant taking this brand to the next level. I mean, my guys have traveled with me across country to do events. They have shown up financially. You know, if I ask, they step up. They have stepped up and supported in that way. Um, I mean, it really feels good to have the support of your club in doing stuff, and it's great when your visions align.
How about that? I like that. I like that when the visions align. When one or two are in agreement.
Right. Amen.
One or two in agreement. All
That's
right.
right.
So we're gonna keep pushing on because I try to stay in an hour, but I'm
Yeah.
so excited to have you. I want everybody to know as much as you want to give out about Black Girls Ride.
Sure.
So this picture here, was this the beginning of Black Girls Ride?
I think that might have been year that was 2010 because that's SJ on the cover, SJ Harris. Um,
Okay.
and excuse me.
Hey!
Yeah. So that picture actually, and actually, I might even have the date wrong, but I think it is. It's either 2010 or 2012. I can't remember. But that was at the PROC, the Pro Convention, the PROC.
Okay.
Um, I had just had surgery. So it was 2014. I had just had surgery the previous October, and the PROC is in January. And so I have been, you know how you have the vision and you're not all in, you're still trying to figure out where it can go and what you need to do.
Right.
Well, I went to the proc and I was so inspired by everything that was going on. Shout out to Foxy and Butter and the team that puts together the pro convention. If you've never been, you need to make sure you get to the proc. Um, and I was in the hotel room and I heard a sermon. I never listened to church on TV. It just, something about evangelists, they seem like shysters to me sometimes. But I listened to
Right.
a sermon. I listened to a sermon because I was just laying there. And the sermon was, if God gives you the vision, he will give you the provisions, right?
Mhm.
Because I was worried about, am I gonna have the money to really do Black Girls Ride and grow it the way it needs to grow? And I heard that sermon, and that changed the course of my mindset. It changed me from having the I don't have enough money to do it to let's figure out how to do it mindset.
Ooh, I like that.
And when you make that shift mentally, it's a game changer.
Yeah, it is.
It's a game changer. And so it's like you have to decide. I'm deciding that this is happening. Now we're just working backwards in the timeline to what needs to happen to make it happen. And it was that shift that, we took off and we start, doing more with merch and doing other things. And we're having that same kind of shift right now with Black Girls Ride. And that we're doing the Essence Fest event every year. That's our annual event, Black Girls Ride to Essence Fest. We also do the Beautiful Bikers Conference every other year. Um, and those are the two staple events. We also do an event for International Female Ride Day. That's another staple event that we have, and putting together events throughout the country with other folks to advance rider training, like My thing is the long distance rider prep workshop. What happens when you decide to go from local riding to really taking that big trip and wanting to make sure that women are prepared for that? And what could happen?
Mhm.
You know, getting your body, budget, and bike ready for that. Um, so those are things that I knew that I was passionate about, and we're still putting those in action. But it's about to be time to turn the corner to do something new, and that's what these rides this spring have been for me. When I ride on the bike and I ride long distance, it's time for me to hone in and have my talks with God and really formulate my vision and learn how I can be of service to the community, because we have to give more than we take. So um, you start really honing in and trying to figure out what's the need, how can we serve women riders, how can we serve all riders, um, and start planning to do other things. And so my goal is to follow in the footsteps of my girl Snacks. I just watched her ride in Nepal and do an amazing ride abroad. I would like to start riding in other countries and seeing what that feels like, going
Okay.
going to see how Black girls ride worldwide, and visit and see and do that type of thing. So just still evolving the vision, and also getting back to the roots of Black Girls Ride, which is showcasing women who ride and doing more features on women who ride. I had gotten away from that for a while, but it's time to get back and hone in on the leaders in the community who are fostering community and doing it well. It's time to look at those women who are challenging themselves and riding outside of their own boundaries, um, and recognizing those women, recognizing the leaders in our community who've been around since the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, recognizing them and giving them their just due as well. So
You
I
know,
think that's our goal.
a buddy of mine, K Solo, he had a show yesterday. His show was on yesterday. And he had an 82-year-old gentleman from um oh God, Moose, help me out. Um, oh Lord. It was a anyway, the gentleman was there, 81 years old, still riding. And he he was talking about, well, actually Moose was talking about how you could just learn so much from him. And I was on the show, or not on the show, but I was watching the show, and I was like, there's a lot to learn from, you know, us. And then when I say us people of color, there's so much to learn that they have to offer, that we wouldn't have a lot of negativity about what happens in the Buffalo Soldiers, or retired Buffalo Soldiers. Thank you, Hustle Man. Thank you, Hustle Man. Yeah, he was retired from Buffalo Soldiers, and he was just a plethora of knowledge of where he went, how he went, what roads will take you here, there, this, that, and the other. Mr. Walters,
Hmm.
and just plethora. And I can imagine the same thing on the flip side, on the females, with the females that started back in those days as well. I can imagine the the outpour of information and inspiration that I'm pretty sure you probably pull from them to get you to where you are now. I think that's just awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Miss Showtime is my OG. She's definitely the one I look up to in Los Angeles. But there's women all over the country that in their own communities are unsung, because our history tends to be an oral history. So, there's not heavy documentation of our history in writing, in magazines, in photos, and things like that outside of those small clubhouses and communities. So it's time for us to harness the power of social media and and journalism, quite frankly, and do these interviews. And Miss Showtime's still riding. She's 80 years old. She just turned 80. She's still riding her Harley.
Oh, I
You
would
know,
love if you could pull a shameless plug in and have her get in contact with me. I would love to have her
I will
on
absolutely
and
do that. I'm
and
sure she
and,
would love
and
to talk to
you know,
you. Yeah,
blow up
she would
some of
love
her
to talk to you.
knowledge.
But she'll tell you how it was back in the day, and how we have all the creature comforts on these bigger bikes. And of course you can go coast to coast if you've got a big comfy seat and cruise control and heated grips and big windscreens. And you know um they didn't have those, back in the day. She used to talk to me about how it was very rare for a black person to have a Harley in Los Angeles. They rode everything else, and
Mm,
then the community started to change over and started to get immersed in Harley. And you can see from Harley's R&D, they came to the hood and stole, not stole, I'll say they got inspired by what they saw, and those became the new bikes on the showroom floor.
mhm.
They took certain design elements from the black bike set, and I'm excited now. I'm seeing the partnership that some of the young guys have with these different brands, including mine with Indian.
Yeah.
Allowing us to do these things. Um, they were not including us. Uh, there was no brand ambassadors back when I started Black Girls Ride.
Now
And
I'm gonna bring up a picture real quick. I hope our audio. I would last every time I do this, they say our audio drops out, but
okay,
when I play it when I play it back, I hear us talking.
go
So,
ahead.
but we're gonna keep talking anyway if they don't hear us.
Right, right, right. Yeah, so that would have been 2019. I was excited to go to Essence Fest. Essence Fest is the biggest celebration of Black women in the world. And you see all walks of life where Black women are involved are represented at Essence. So the vision was to represent Black women in motorsports up close, and to inspire women who maybe had seen a bike, or maybe they had seen a bike, and let them know that they too could ride. And so that was the vision. And I am beholden to a great team of ambassadors that came together to pull Essence Fest off. That is by no means a one person show. Uh, you know, and this will be our eighth Essence Fest this year, our eighth ride to Essence Fest. And I want to thank our brands that support us: Indian Motorcycle, Polaris Slingshot, Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys. They've been consistent in their support. But we wanted to create a riding vacation for women where they didn't have to think about anything. They didn't have to worry about the safety of their motorcycles. They didn't have to worry about Essence Fest traffic. And we
Mm.
did that. So every year, I buy a lot right across the street from the convention center for convenience, and we create Black Girls Ride Village at Essence Fest. And we do a police escorted ride everywhere in the city. We go to a catered brunch, which is our beautiful bikers sister share brunch. And we've got our own personal chef, Chef Eugene. He's been cooking for us for the past 7 years. He cooks an amazing meal with fish and grits and gumbo, and just
A
you know
feast
it's
fit for a king.
jambalaya, yeah. And we have party buses that take us to Bourbon Street for our Bourbon Street parade. And it's a celebration of Black Girls Ride inside Essence Fest. And every year we get new women to learn to ride just from being out there. I saw you guys and I went and bought a bike, and how can I be a part of the group? And so that feels really good to know that you are influencing the culture and introducing the culture to new people. And yeah, Essence has been a phenomenal experience. And what I don't know is how many more we're gonna do because the landscape of New Orleans is changing a little bit. But we are
Oh,
going back
okay.
this year. We are going back this year, and you can register for that ride at bgr2025.eventbrite.com. And for 199, you get everything that I just talked about and a whole lot more. So just
And
go to
speaking of
that site, take a look. We would love to have you ride with us.
people want to be a part of, I don't know how recent this particular picture is here, but
Yeah, that's I
what
think 2019.
that's 2019.
Uh-huh.
All right, let me see. I think I got
Yeah.
another one here.
We got
I'm gonna
some
see if
that
I
are, but these are the women in this picture are the ambassadors, the Black Girls Ride ambassadors, and these ladies are phenomenal.
yeah,
Phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, our team is uh, can't be stopped. And
can't be, can't be.
yeah, they're, I owe these ladies a huge debt. I owe them a huge debt. So
All right. What about these?
yeah,
Same
it's
year?
the same year. You could tell by the jersey color because we change the jersey color every year.
Okay.
And that's my fault. I probably should get you some more current pictures. They're out there though, But
That's all
but
right.
yeah. But
That's
last year we had about 200 women come ride with us in New Orleans. And the thing to remember about Black Girls Ride is it is not a club, it's a movement. So everyone is welcome to every event that we ever do. There's no, you don't have to pay any dues or nothing like that. It's just this is just a community. It's a community of riders. So everyone is always welcome. We encourage you to come out, ride with us, and have a great time.
That's what it's all about. So I think we kind of got a little bit off track because I wanted to kind of like go in sequence of your story of how you got started and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but my time because I didn't even take my little break. I normally take a break in between, and we just been talking, having a
You
good
can
time.
take your break. You want to
Um,
take your break and call me
but
back?
no, I am. I'm gonna take a break. But we're gonna take a break after this. This one right here. Let's talk about this meet up and ride.
Oh yeah, that was last year in Atlanta. It was a great, great, great day. We brought the bikes and the three-wheel community together at my favorite dealership, Indian Motorcycle in Marietta, Georgia. If you are in Atlanta and you want an Indian or a slingshot, they will take amazing care of you. If you need service on your bike, they will take great care of you. I mean, I definitely stand by those guys over there. But the goal for this was just to get to Atlanta and ride with Atlanta. That was all. You know, we just wanted to have some
Awesome.
fun.
All right. So now we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take a quick about 30 seconds, 30-40 second break, and we're gonna come right back. Everybody who's just tuning in, y'all watching MC Love with DJ FX and my very special guest. I'm very honored to have her, the one and only Porsche Taylor, aka PT Cruiser. We'll be right back, y'all.
I hope I'm not talking too much.
What's up, everybody? This is your man DJ FX, and welcome back. We are talking and chopping it up a lot with Porsche Taylor, the founder, the creator of Black Girls Ride, a movement that has far seeded, I'm assuming it's far seeded anything you imagine.
No, I knew what it was because I knew what we were doing in our own communities. So I envisioned it getting this big because I knew that it would be giving a platform and a voice to women that didn't have one.
So why give up? Why not just find another location?
We will. I'm not saying that we're not going to do an event again. We may not
Oh,
go
okay.
back to Essence Fest again.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right.
And
We're gonna find definitely. Oh, definitely. We're never gonna give up. It's just about finding a different location that serves us in the same way. That's all.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Let me see. We I want to bring up one last little topic to talk about, if I can. Hold on a second. See if I can get you up in here. And we're going to talk about this upcoming event that you got going. Well,
I got like two major events that I want to talk to you about. So that'll be dope.
all right. Well, is this one of them?
Yeah. So this is the beautiful bikers ride. And this happens every first Saturday in May, and it coincides with International Female Ride Day. And International Female Ride Day is actually the brainchild of Vicki Gray, who is the founder of Motorist Magazine, and she essentially created a holiday for women to ride. And we have been supporting her in that vision since 2012, and every year we do one in SoCal. I've moved it off and on. Some places sometimes I'll go support other women's events. And sometimes we'll circle back and do it in Los Angeles. So this year we're gonna do it in Los Angeles, and we're partnering with we what is it called? We Break Limits TV and radio. They're hosting a day party called Celebrate Her with female comedians and music artists. And we're partnering together to just really celebrate women who ride, and it's a free event. It's 100% free. The fee is only if you want to buy a t-shirt and you want to get the gift bag. But the ride itself is free. The day party is free. And we encourage everyone, no matter what you ride, to come and ride with us. But you're going to see International Female Ride Day events all over the country. And even if you don't go to those, we just encourage women on that day, the first Saturday in May, to just get out and go ride.
Yeah, I've been
So
seeing a lot of the International Female Riders Day
yeah, you're gonna see that.
in various areas, various locations. So, big
Hmm.
shout out to all the ladies out there. Big shout out to all the ladies that ride. Period. I
Yeah,
also want to give a shameless plug to men and women that love to ride motorcycles. Make sure you go to their event
absolutely.
that's coming up in April. Ladies, make sure you bring your fan. Whatever, however y'all
That's
do
at the
that
end of
thing.
the month, right? The weekend of the
The 24th,
26th.
24th through the 27th.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
24th through the 27th. So yeah, that's happening there. Your event. Now, what's the other event you want to talk about? Because unfortunately, I don't have. I didn't.
No, that's
I didn't.
okay. And I'll be sure to send you something to put. But we're doing something called Cali Motor Fest. Cali Motor Fest is going to be huge. It is the consummate motorsports vacation in Los Angeles, and it's for both two wheels and three wheels. It will have rides, it will have a sound competition, it's going to have a bike show, a three-wheel show. We're just going to show you what it's like to ride in Southern California. A lot of folks think that our city burned down, with the fires, and we just want to show you that no, we're still out here, we're still riding, and we want to invite you to come and have the time of your life. So that is actually in October. It's October 3rd through the 6th. 3rd through the 5th actually in Los Angeles, and I have a flyer. I don't know how to give it to you right now, but however, I'll make sure that I give it to you, and please help us spread the word.
Oh, you can send it to me inbox, Facebook, text
Yeah,
it to
I'll send
me,
it to
however
you.
you have.
Help us spread the word on that. That's gonna be big. We have VIP packages for two available for just 125. That includes like two t-shirts, a custom cooler bag, and a bunch of really cool goodies. So I just want to encourage you guys to learn more about it. Come out to Cali, ride with us in Cali. Let's get some good vibes going, and it is gonna be so much fun. We're planning all kind of things. I can't tell everything right now, but we're planning all kind of cool things. So that's
All
the
right,
other
so real quick,
event.
because the show is, starting to wind down, I always ask all of my guests 2 questions.
Okay.
The first one the first one is, what is one of your most embarrassing or funniest moments you can think of that's happened to you as a rider?
My most embarrassing moment would be at a stoplight and I dropped my bike at the stoplight and couldn't get it up. I couldn't get it up. The traffic is stopped. It's after work on a Friday, and these gracious men came and helped me pick my bike up.
That's what's up.
That's probably the most embarrassing moment.
Yeah, that's happened to a lot of us. But that
Yeah,
kicks
I was a
man
brand
down.
new rider. Yeah, I was
Oh,
a brand new rider at a stoplight on my tippy toes. So I don't know if my leg gave out or what, but it was all
okay, and the next
bad.
question is, what would you tell the younger you, or what advice would you have for someone who is interested in becoming part of a motorcycle organization or just being a part of the motorcycle culture?
I would say for the first 2 years, just look and learn. First, if you get your bike, just ride with people. Don't commit to joining a club. Don't commit to anything long term. See if you like riding. See if you like your bike. See if you like the bike set in general. You know what I mean? Really, for the people that are considering a club, I got a whole bunch of stuff, about a whole list of things you should consider when thinking about a club. You need to make sure it's a good fit for your personality, make sure it's a good fit for your budget, make sure that you're going to really be a good member, and make sure they're going to be good brothers or sisters to you. Um, but for the first 2 years, your job is just to learn. Your job is to learn how to ride your bike, learn how to ride in a group, and learn how to to network and make relationships on the set. That's it.
That's awesome. I just want to make another little statement from the Black Girls Ride magazine, where you say, where is it? We are focused on the women who have endured to be simply seen as equal, highlighting female MCs that represent with pride and dignity in their communities. While they are while there are levels to the motorcycle lifestyle, allow us to cross the entire spectrum. We recognize all women, regardless of bike or club status, from 250 cc's to 1400 cc's and beyond. We believe we are all united as sisters on the ground. I like that.
Yeah, that's really speaking to the young girls who might be afraid to engage because maybe people have been telling them, "Oh, you need a bigger bike. Why you buy that 500? You should have bought this or you should have bought that." People ride at their budgets, and I don't encourage judging. Black Girls Ride is a safe space for all riders because at the end of the day, let's face it, we all started at mile one. None of us started as entry riders.
Right. That's right. That is out. Uh-oh.
It would be disingenuous to encourage someone who is just coming onto the scene for the first time to ride beyond their limits because you think they should have a bigger bike. And I always tell people who try to bike shame other people, they'll ride whatever bike you buy them. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, most people don't have anything. They You buy a bike for you, not for somebody else. You're not impressing anybody else.
That's why they have the term
So we just want
out
to,
there, ride your
accept
ride.
everyone
That's
out there.
that's the term, ride your
Accept
ride. It
everyone who
doesn't
had the
matter who.
courage to get on the ground.
Right.
I don't
Absolutely.
know if you can still hear me because
Absolutely.
my phone
All right.
rang.
Ah,
Can you still hear me?
I hear you. I hear
You
you.
can't hear me no
Yeah.
more.
You can't hear me? I hear
Can
you.
you hear me? I can't hear you
Yes.
though. I can't hear you. Oh, okay.
Your phone rang.
At least we
Is that
made
what
it
it
to the
was? Your phone
end.
rang? We made it to the end. That's right. All right. Well, look, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking the time out to be a part of MC Love. And I caught you out there riding. You stopped. You answered my call. I know she can't hear me, but let her know I can hear her.
I
Um,
can't hear you.
uh,
If y'all
let's
text
see.
me, if y'all type the question, I can answer it though. Just type it in the chat and I can answer the question, but I can't hear him anymore. Okay, got it.
This is funny.
Mm-mm. Absolutely. I'll come back anytime you ask.
That's awesome.
You
So,
got
all
it.
right. So I'm going to say goodbye to you for now. I'll call you later. Let her know I call her hot. Desi, let her know I call her later. You typing it hot? Because I'm slow. I'm not good at typing. Oh, 1 second. Hold on.
Perfect. Thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
guys for typing.
All right, y'all. Okay. Hey, everybody, I just want to say thank you guys for being part of MC Love. Thank you for typing in and filling in the gap and everything. Thank you guys for just being a part of this platform. I ask once again that make sure you guys subscribe, share, like, follow. There's my Cash App information if you want to go ahead and sow because doing this is it's costly, and but we enjoy doing it, and we just like to continue to do it to help this platform grow. So go as many likes as you can, as many follows you can. That helps out a whole lot more than this, because eventually they're going to have to pay me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just keep it going. So until then, you know what I got to do. Pray before you ride, pray during your ride, and pray after your ride on your way home. All you drivers that are out there, make sure you look more than once, more than twice, because that biker, that rider that's out there, that's somebody's husband, that's somebody's wife, that's somebody's brother and sister, and we desire for them to make it home in the same manner that they left, alive and whole. All you riders that are out there riding recklessly, please keep your wheels down, because your brother and your sister also want to make it home in the same manner that they left, alive and whole. With all the crazy things that's going on around, riding out there is the one thing that keeps you motivated, inspired, and connected to God in one way or another. So keep this in mind while you're out there riding. Be one with Him, because you are also you are one with Him, as you can be one, as He can be one with you. I messed that up. Until the next time, everybody, it's your man DJ FX. Burn rubber and not your soul.